359 of the Terrell Effect. On today's episode, we are featuring the artist known as Plex. Now, you see the title right here, and you know that, when it is the way it is, it's representing me in the boys wrestling. But like one of the things that I have said a lot in the last few weeks while doing the show is suplex. So we know that's just a throw of some sort, but let me know the complexities of your alias, good sir.
There have been times where I've referred to myself as the perfect Plex. Shout out to Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. Yes. I grew up on wrestling, but the name actually came because I didn't really have a rap name. I had the desire at 17, 18 years old to rap, and I started writing some rhymes. And there was a radio show on the college radio station in Edmonton, and it was basically DJ Billy. And he was a well-respected, well-known guy in the city of Edmonton. And he had around 2 a.m. So he had from midnight till 6 a.m. was his show. And around 3 a.m., he'd have a call-in session where people could drop freestyles or drop written raps. And the first couple of weeks, I just went by Doug. It was just by Doug. And then he was like, "Hey, man, you got anybody? You working with any producers or whatever?" And then we met up, and he came out to my place, and I was living in a duplex at the time. I grew up in this house. It was a duplex. It was half of one side of this building. And on the third week of me calling in, and I started to get better as the weeks went by, and he was like, "That's Dougie kicking it at the duplex." And then for every week, he would say, "That's Dougie from the duplex," because I just call in.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it's just like when we started booking shows, it was like they just refer to me as Dougie from the duplex. And eventually I chopped it to Plex, and it just seemed to be a little bit more easier to work with,
Yeah.
And then again, I would always reference Kurt Hennig back in the day because of the perfect Plex.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's dive into that aspect of life for a minute, because I find that the wrestling or the sports and entertainment culture has influenced or affected or been participated in by a lot of people that I've interviewed over the last 359 episodes.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Takes a huge commitment to make that happen,
We just did our first Juneteenth show on last Saturday. It was a historical event. We had so much talent from so many places in the house. It was bananas. Shout out to everybody that came through. We appreciate your effort and your energies.
Exactly.
But going back into the wrestling thing, if you were a wrestler, would you keep the same name or would you change it? What would your wrestling name be?
You know what? I'd probably go with it just to save the effort. I would just go with Plex, maybe even Perfect Plex.
Okay.
As an homage to the late Kurt Hennig, who was my favorite wrestler for a lot of years. It bounced because being from Alberta and being so close to Calgary, I was definitely a big fan of the Hart family.
Yes.
So Bret Hart was definitely when the Hart Foundation was at its peak, that was my go-to.
Yeah.
But I grew up in the Hulk Hogan era, the cartoon Rocket Wrestling. I was in that. Yep. I was at that age group where I watched that every Saturday morning, and wrestling has been a huge part of my life. I've actually been. I was actually at Teddy Hart's house, probably about 15 years ago. Stopped in at Teddy Hart, saw all those cats. I still haven't seen the documentary about him. I heard he wasn't a huge fan of the documentary that Peacock did on him.
Oh, wow.
But I was at Teddy Hart's house, and he's the nephew of all those Hart brothers, the grandson of Stu Hart. An amazing athlete, but he's just he's a rock star. He can't be tamed.
Okay.
He's a rock star, and I think it really hurt. His time in the WWE was really short. And then his cousin is Davey Boy Smith's son.
Yep.
And he's I don't even know if he's been doing all that great. I know they do a lot of the underground circuit stuff still, but I think even in those places, it's hard to tame Teddy Hart. You know, it was interesting meeting him though. He was really respectful to me. So I mean, that was cool. But Stampede Wrestling, I attended it when I was a kid. And that was
Mm,
huge for me when I was young. You know, it kept me out of trouble. I think. You know, I think growing up in a low income area,
mm-hmm.
you know, and poverty was just, you know, it's peaking now, but even back then it was, you know, I didn't even know that we're poor. You know,
Yep.
I didn't really know the concept of it, right? But my grandfather would take me to Stampede Wrestling whenever it was in town. It was usually twice a month, and yeah, I think it just kept me out of trouble.
Yeah. Never went without a meal. Always had someone close by that could help. So, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? I think the idea of poor and poverty, although is a real thing, is a mentality as well.
yeah.
Just take in
Well,
mind.
we just adapt. You know, I think
Mm,
as you know, as minorities, as they call us, I think
yep.
that we just adapt. We're the most adaptable.
It's
You know,
like what's
what is that saying? Strong, strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. I think we're at the end of that.
okay.
Hard times create strong men, right? So
Well then,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. Well, that is something. I think that's the first time I've heard that. But
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I didn't create it. It wasn't. It's not a. Don't
it's
quote
very
me on
true.
it.
Very true. Like it's like if you look at it, like if you're born into wealth, right, and you lose your wealth, a lot of people don't know what to do. But if you're
Yeah.
born into a struggle and acquire wealth, and then for some reason lose it again, you know how to get it because you started without it.
Oh, I've been up and down throughout my life. You
Bro,
know,
I feel like a
started
subway.
at the bottom, worked my way up pretty good, dropped off hard,
Yeah.
and usually it has to do with what I'm doing in my life. If sobriety is a part of my life, I'm doing good. If
Yep.
you know, if I'm succumbing to addictions, then obviously, yeah, I'm on the way down. You know, so I mean, that plays a big role, and a lot of that stems back to like childhood traumas and stuff, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
even you know, growing up in poverty and as optimistic as I might have been throughout my life, you know, there's still incidents that happen that kind of create who I am as a person,
Yep.
and acknowledging that or dealing with that is important as well.
Of course. Of course. We
Yeah,
got to face facts in order to focus forward.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, looking back on your career from then till now, what would you say your crowning achievement is?
You know what? So I've been doing it for 30 years, almost 30 years. So I'm just really close to 30 years here.
Okay.
So I've been a hip hop artist for that long. You know, since my first paid booking, it was probably about 30, almost 30 years ago.
Okay.
And I think one of my, you know, I've done some big shows. You know, I did the Pan American Games in Winnipeg where there was probably 30,000 people in attendance. But my favorite show and the one that I'm still like people still bring up every now and again is when we opened for Run DMC.
Okay.
It was our first like well paid gig. You know, we there was a band that had some problems, I think, crossing the border that was opening for Run DMC, and they couldn't get across the border, and Edmonton was their first stop. So they hired the group that I was part of at the time, which was called 118, because that was the avenue that connected me and the other members of the group. Um, they got 118 to open for Run DMC, and it was just like we were super celebrities after that. And this is when Jam Master Jay was still alive, right? So that the whole
Yeah.
crew was there,
Oh, wow.
and it was just a good night. There was a lot of love in the building. This is, you know, no shots were fired, you know, like this
Excellent.
is good. And yeah, it was just like from that point forward, every time we'd walk around the city, go shopping, people would stop us and go, "Hey, you guys are open for Run DMC," you know. So I think that was a crowning moment. Yeah, I feel like that was like where I started to be recognized from that point forward.
Okay. Okay. That's bonkers. Like
Yeah,
that just shows when you're there, when you show up, you get a chance to show out.
yeah,
It's like when we're playing soul pitch. We always say run it out, even if
yeah,
as long as it's in the fair field, it doesn't matter if it's a dribbler or a home run. Run it out because you never know. They might drop the ball, or you know what I mean. Something might
yeah,
happen, and you make it to the base. It's like
absolutely.
showing up to the venue with your USB on hand. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like there's very few places I go without my USB because
yeah,
I like out here, like everybody knows everybody. And as soon as I show up at a venue, it's like, okay, you want to perform?
yeah.
More often than not, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you know, a lot of times I'm nervous in those moments, like, you know, especially like if I have a show that's booked, like I just did a show last night, and
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I feel hungover today. I don't drink, but like it's something about putting out the energy that you're putting, all the build up leading up to the performance, and then all that energy, all those people that are focused on you, it's intoxicating, right?
Yep.
So like the next day, usually after a show, and especially as I get older, it's like I feel hungover today, you know. So
Mm.
I mean, it's very humbling. You know, I do. I don't know if you know what smudging is, but you know,
Yes.
in
Yes.
indigenous culture, you know, a lot of
Yeah.
different clans we smudge. So I
Yeah.
smudge and just ask for humility. He's like, you know, don't let my ego get out of hand. You know, as a hip hop artist, it's easy to let ego take over. You know, because it's what hip hop is always about, right? It was always
It
about ego, but
is.
it's like keeping that in check and having some control over that ego. You know, just to to humble yourself, I think is important. So I smudged before the show, and I feel like last night was a good comeback for me because I took some time away to focus on my sobriety and raise my kids. But I put an album out in October, so I mean, a lot of people have been trying to book me, and I just where I can make the time for it, I will.
There you
And
go.
last night was an amazing show. It was the Toronto Music Festival in Toronto.
Okay.
My first full set back in several years. The pandemic. I was planning a comeback there, and then the pandemic hit. So it was just like,
Okay.
yeah, who was doing shows? Nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter's asking me if she can go hang out with friends.
My daughter's already doing that. I mean,
You know what I mean? It's like
what time zone are you in?
I'm in Eastern Standard Time.
Oh yeah, same with me. Same with me. So my
Yeah.
daughter, she's already got her friends over.
She's finally got the idea that if you go hang out with your friends during the day when it's bright outside, the answer is likely to be yes. But if they come knocking on my door when it's dark and
Yeah.
ask if we can play manhunt, it's gonna be a no.
Yeah, my daughter. How old's your daughter?
13, going on.
My daughter's 13.
Yeah. How tall is your daughter?
She's probably 5'2".
Yeah, mine's 5'11".
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's how tall I was at 13.
Yeah.
5'11".
About
maybe I was probably just hitting 6 foot around that time.
yeah, I was between I know I was over 5'8", 5'9", but I wasn't as tall as 6 feet because my brother was 6 feet.
I'm pretty sure I looked like a man at 13. I'm 6'5" now, right? I'm 6'5".
Okay, yeah, I'm 6'3".
Yeah, so we're big boys.
Yeah, not the smallest puppies in the pound for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it's just life. And then looking back or even looking at her, it's just like we used to do this podcast called Daddy Daughter Time.
Yeah.
And eventually when she has time, we'll do it again. But her ventures and adventures have her, growing and developing. It's like
Yeah, you used to be number one.
Numero uno.
And now you're kind of slipping it. It depends.
I mean,
when they want something, it's a little different. Then you're number one again. But it's like, hey, Dad, hey, thanks for that. Like,
I'm starting to feel a little bit like a trophy. You know what I mean? Like I'm there to illustrate a point, but only acknowledged to prove a point, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'd say by 2, 3, maybe 4. Take the bike. Okay, be safe. Yep. I can't even tell you to wear a helmet. You got that afro. I'm not hating. You really should wear
At least there's some extra protection.
There is extra protection. Just be safe, okay? All right. Awesome.
I don't even know if helmets existed when I was a kid. I don't think they did. I think it was like hockey. You'd have to wear a hockey helmet or something.
Yeah, that was
football helmet.
Football and hockey were the only times that helmet on a bike. What do I do that for?
Yeah, I don't even think people wear the helmets in football when I was maybe in high school. That was about it.
Rugby was I know rugby was a thing where there was no helmets at all.
It could be why a lot of us are so messed up, though.
Concussions are a real thing.
Oh yeah.
I remember specifically walking behind someone, and I was joking around, how you take your chin strap, and if you hit the center part of the helmet, it makes the person's ears ring.
Yeah.
So I walked behind someone, and I not grabbed or forcefully, but lightly just used my fingers and pulled their head back so it hit the pole.
Yeah.
And they let out this blood curdling screech because I guess it resonated so much.
Oh wow.
Dude turned around and I got DDT'd, no helmet.
Shout out to Jake the Snake.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I can't say nothing, but I deserved it because, I struck first.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. But we got some tunes here from you. We got great ones. What is this tune about? Give me some background and we'll
So
run it.
great ones during the pandemic. I was like in the city that I grew up in. So I've been out in Toronto area for 17 years, but I grew up in the city of Edmonton, which is on the west side of Canada.
Yep.
And during the pandemic, a lot of businesses that I was familiar with growing up were like shutting down. They couldn't get through the pandemic, right? So, I mean, I wanted to make a song that kind of talked about my experiences growing up in the city of Edmonton. So more for my era, right? Not so much for what for the younger cats, because a lot of the references were older references from the 80s and 90s. And so I made this song, and I wanted to make a music video that kind of boosted up these businesses and showcased businesses. But the Edmonton Oilers had just entered the playoffs and had their best chances of winning the Stanley Cup. So I started to kind of focus a little bit on an Oilers theme to it. But originally the song was really my experiences and what made me who I am today in the city of Edmonton. And then, I just, it became kind of an Oilers anthem after that. So every time the Oilers are doing good or, well, especially if they're doing good. If they're doing bad, I don't want my song associated with that. But, but if they're doing good, my song has kind of been something that people use to kind of get amped up for the Oilers games and stuff. So they're a pretty solid team. I mean, they haven't won a Stanley Cup in 30 years exactly, actually. 30 years. This year would be their 30th anniversary since they won the last Stanley Cup. And I've always, I like sports. I've always been athletic. But, I mean, to be able to commit all the time you want to sports, like when you got day jobs, kids, career, like music career, anything, that kind of stuff. It's like tough to balance. I can't watch every team I like. So the Edmonton Oilers is basically the team I put the most focus on throughout the season and then the postseason. So the song is kind of like my ode to the city of Edmonton.
All right. Let us play that track now.
I'm an Oiler, always be an Oiler. I'm Edmonton as hell, you can tell by the aura. I'm an Oiler, always be an Oiler. I'm Edmonton as hell, you can tell by the aura.
Y'all need to take in this cadence, like the confidence with which he starts this track. I gotta record the mix. The mix is being recorded. Now take in these lyrics, okay?
I'm an Oiler, always be an Oiler. I'm Edmonton as hell, you can tell by the aura. I'm Gretzky in the copper and blue jersey. Student of the streets, I learned to adapt early. You cannot serve me, I'm on one page. But when you talking Jersey, we'll be drinking at the break. I'm a house posse, sportsman, soldier. Really roller skating, but you could get rolled over. I was really sober, down for the brawl. Fighting at Malibu West, Edmonton Mall. Hot 2 charges, aggravated assault. Stories fabricated, try to lock me in the vault. You get the blame. Tamper with the evidence. I spent 25 racks to avoid a couple sentences. Even a dirty cop can't stop me. Show him how we rock when we rock you at hockey. Ease up, hold your head high. Edmonton, through your E in the sky. The Wild West, E-Town till I die. We all break ones on the back 99. Ease up, hold your head high. Edmonton, through your E in the sky. The Wild West, E-Town till I die. We all break ones 99. There's a little flex, so there's a little stress. The little head sick, big west, that's the rest. From Jipway born, E-Town's run bred. I'm 118, so I don't need street cred. Here's Bill Williams, an E-Town celeb. Tried to fight me through a ball in my head. He wasn't wrong, man. I was just 15. It's a little extreme. Was a free. You can find me outside of East Glen. Always cutting class every day's a weekend. I was about to crash, going off the deep end. See, the swim, I decided to leave then. So I packed up the mic, headed east to T-Dot. Billy blocked out, touch it, E-Dot. Maximum definitive, relic and Brandon Branch. Run to L for the hometown. Ease up, hold your head high. Edmonton, through your E in the sky. The Wild West, E-Town till I die. We all break ones on the back 99. Ease up, hold your head high. Edmonton, through your E in the sky. The Wild West, E-Town till I die. We all break ones 99. Look, I'm on everything in the big mall. I'm on top of the city, I feel like King Kong. Get this place 3 winners, get walking to work. My money's 30 degrees. I've been trying bus home, now bus raps. And don't think I don't see all the people hating like I ain't take the 8 from the Coliseum station on the north side, baby. Yeah, the air run deep with the sirens blaring. You can't just sleep on the man, just speak. Dripping with the sauce, I've been on a high level to sing the bridge you wanna cross. Edmonton born, Edmonton raised, Edmonton music seem to never get praised. And they don't even want rap in the vein, cause you seem too strong on a rap in the team. Ease up, hold your head high. Ease up, hold your head high. Edmonton, throw your E in the sky. The Wild West, keep down till I die. We all break runs on the back 99.
Party people in the place to be. My name is DJ Cassidy, and this is my new single with Shaggy featuring Ray Vaughn. If you like pina coladas, welcome to paradise.
Okay. Got the latest from the soon to be greatest. You heard first the song by Plex called Great Ones, representing Edmonton.
Go.
DJ Cassidy and Shaggy on the track. Okay. J Book, the greens and collie butts. Desiree. Breathing strength. Next track up. We're here with Plex. Vibing.
What up? What up?
Catch us on the VGN. Village Global Network. We make the network. Check out Culture Shock Radio. Zeno.fm/culture. CulchaShockRadio. Culture Shock Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get a dose of culture over the airwaves. Culture Shock Radio. All right. So what do you have planned for today?
You know what? Just mostly. I was hoping to get a swim in. I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping to get a swim in, but we got thunder showers today, so I'm not really too sure what the implications of that are.
I'm on that vibe right now. The other day I went to go to the gym to sign up for the gym just specifically so I could go to the pool because we want a free membership.
Nice.
It's under construction until the end of summer.
Well, you can always come up here, man. Come for a swim up and.
I'm gonna have to find another body of water or something.
Yeah.
I can't go. Like July can't start before I touch water. It just has to happen.
I mean, you got to start now because the days are already getting shorter.
For real.
We just past the solstice.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like I feel like summer's kind of skipped us. Where are you located? You're in Toronto?
Me, I'm located in Welland, Ontario.
Welland. So do you feel like summer's kind of skipped over us? Like I'm looking at the temperatures in Alberta. They've been like 29, 30, and we've been like hovering in the mid 20s, you know.
I think we got a little dose of summer at the end of what was supposed to be spring, and then it hit us with like the colder temperatures where it's raining.
Yeah.
But like the last couple of days, it's been good through the day, rained overnight, and then been good through the day. If we can keep that cycle, we're laughing.
Well, you know what? Like when I first moved out to Toronto, it was you'd have like 45 degree with the humidity. You know, I shot one of my music videos at the Bovine Sex Club, and it was 48 degrees that day, and it was during the Toronto garbage strike. So it was just, you'd see just rats running through the streets, and it was just brutal. So, I mean, I kind of choose this over that, but I still like my like mid to high 20s.
Yeah. I personally, when people ask me about like what I like about Canada so much, it's like, you know, our climates are predictable.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be hot. You know it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
You're not 100% sure how long it's going to be hot or cold, but at least you know you're dealing with hot and cold.
Yeah.
That's about as big as it gets.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to tornadoes and tsunamis and hurricanes and gale force winds and, you know what I mean, destruction of natural disasters or something like that, we don't have to worry about that as much as our friends to the south.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we still on tornado watch once in a while, you know?
Once in a while. They have a tornado season, fam.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. No, there were 128 tornadoes today just in Oklahoma. Like that kind of stuff, right? So,
yeah.
And, you know, I mean, there's other things, other more human elements that are a little bit more of a danger in those places too, with guns and, you know, maybe some random disgruntled white guy going to shoot up a concert or something, you know. So I mean, at least we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. I mean, like most of the people up here that got problems like that, it's like harsh words or like higher taxes.
Were you born in Toronto or Canada?
Oh man.
Hey, were you born?
Yeah, come again.
Were you born in Canada?
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
You know what it's all about. It's not like you're just discovering it, you know.
No. Oh no. No.
Yeah.
I've been like pick a day, pick a circumstance, like pick a location. It's like if we were to play, whose line is it anyways? And you know what I mean, we were to get scenarios from the audience.
Yeah.
Guaranteed 75% of the scenarios we'd get would be a racial encounter.
What's that little guy there?
This, good sir.
That's her? Wow.
Believe it or not. No, it's a little guy, yeah. But it's a squirrel.
You know what? My wife has referred to me as a squirrel whisperer. I do this little chirp with my mouth and they'll crawl right up my legs. I mean, it's a little freaky at times, but, you know. They've got you know what they remind me of?
What?
Little bears. They're like little tiny bears. They've got like a little bit of expression in their eyebrows and stuff, and
Yeah.
they've almost got like the build of a bear. Yeah, I mean, except they're extremely fast and can climb up anything.
Yep. No, I don't know, but I don't want him to drop the liquid
So
on
you
me.
saved him? You saved him? Saved her?
Yeah. He fell on my girlfriend's cousin, and then we took him in because we had the space, and we've been rehabilitating him. He went from being scared to climbing up to like we have a dog kennel.
Yeah.
Like probably 2 feet by 3 feet. 2 feet by 3 feet by 2 feet. And we have it stood up. And we have like a couple branches in there so he could climb. And then we caught him one morning climbing up the wood and hanging upside down from the cage part.
Yeah.
On the top, the cage door. So he's getting a lot stronger.
I think you get a lot of karma points for that.
Well, hey,
Yeah,
I'll take
some
it.
good karma
Yeah,
points.
and he jumps now. Let's see if he'll jump. Let's see it.
That's amazing.
Watch it.
He's just gonna fall on you instead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Take him outside.
Yeah. He's got to go for his daily exercise now up the tree and around the yard.
That's good.
And our Jack Russell kind of keeps an eye on him when he's on the ground too. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I've got a Bengal. So it's like almost like a wildcat. They like really long limbs and big paws and just like they look like a leopard. And then I got a Russian blue cat. He's kind of like his own thing. We're like where he just comes for a recharge. He like runs outside all day and then he just comes here just to eat. And like 3 minutes later, he wants back out. He doesn't really want to socialize with us too much. But I think it's because we got the Bengal. The Bengal's energy is like unreal. Like just always and plays fetch like a dog. Always wants to play fetch. And sometimes it's hard to make time for that. I just finished chasing her away while you're getting karma points over there nursing a squirrel to good health.
Hey man,
now I feel guilty. Yeah,
I wasn't always the man I present myself as today.
No, it's all about I like redemption stories, right? So
yeah. I have this one saying where it says, we're all human and we make mistakes, but it's correcting them that makes us humane.
Absolutely.
Give me a moment, please. I have a call coming.
No worries.
Take a moment to promote yourself.
Take a moment to promote myself. I have a new album out. It's called Who Am I to Judge? It's available on vinyl. You can find it. We're reworking the website at the moment, but I've spent 30 years making hip hop, and I took the last 7 or 8 years to focus on my sobriety. I've worked with numerous artists out there. Ninth Una out of Toronto, Dreezus out of Calgary, Fatty Jones out of Edmonton, Relic out of Edmonton, Lady Luck out of New Jersey, who works with Craig G, and she was on the Symphony remix, Symphony 2000. She works with Redman, numerous other artists. Who else? A lot of different artists. I've worked with a lot of people. I've produced in the background. I've ghost written for other artists as well. I write a little bit of R&B here and there, and a little bit of pop EDM. Worked with a group called Stoic. That was a big highlight for me. STOIK. I recommend checking them out. You can find them on any streaming platforms. You can find any of my music on Plex. If you just look up Plex, Who Am I to Judge, you'll find my latest album. There's a few tracks on there worth listening to. One of the more recent ones was a song called Red Flags, and that was about a new phenomenon. I guess maybe I could bring that up with you as well, but pretendians. Pretendians are non-Indigenous people who fake indigeneity to, possibly benefit themselves financially.
We're gonna have to talk about that in a quick minute.
Okay.
Because I'm sitting here, I'm listening to promo, controversy. Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead. Continue though. We'll be right back.
So, you can hear me on a lot of other people's tracks as well. Relic, Who did I just do on? Did a song with Kripal called Great Ones. That's what we just listened to earlier. Man, I've been dropping some features lately, but I can't really remember who they're with. Oh, there's one out of the city of Barrie. There was a woman who was racially attacked by a Munyao, I call them, or a white woman. She was attacked on the street. She ran a place called Shaq's World. So we wrote a song to kind of just like, bring attention to the fact that racism sucks still, never was good. I don't know why people after this many years people still think it's cool, but we wrote a song. It's under the name Community. It's pretty hot. And just finished doing the Ticarana Music Festival yesterday, which was finished on a high note.
That is quite a cavalcade of accomplishments, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being a little light. I'm more talking about like maybe some recent stuff, but I've done a lot over the years.
Yeah, no, you should be. This is the place where you come to talk about those accomplishments because they're flowers. You know what I mean?
Keep listening, but
That's the
forget sometimes.
And I find that to be problematic. It's like, okay, say I did accomplish something and you're still working on something. I should be able to share my accomplishment with you to motivate you to your accomplishment.
Absolutely.
As opposed to you having an accomplishment and me getting upset because I haven't done what you've done. Yeah. I'm not supposed to do what you're doing.
I think it's all about celebrating art. Like I think anybody who's doing art. That's why I try not to. Critique art because it's all interpretive.
Okay. All right. So, can you give me a second?
Absolutely.
Okay. I want you to talk a little bit more about Red Flags and Aaliyah Bell while I finish this up real quick. All right.
So Aaliyah Bell, met her through a project I was working on. It's called Stoic. They have an album out called Paradolia. Hot album. Really good album. And I was just honored to be included on 2 songs. And then I brought her in for a song called Lost in the Cycle, which was a song about suicide. I had recently lost a family member to suicide. And then I worked with a guy named Rex Smallboy, who was, part of a popular indigenous rap group called War Party. And he was probably somebody I knew who had been the most affected by suicide. He'd lost a lot of family members, younger family members. It seemed like suicide had been like almost like an epidemic, like a contagious epidemic, where, one person committed suicide and then maybe 2 or 3 of their friends also did it within a short time after. It's horrible shit. But and then we worked on a song called Red Flags recently. It was the last song we created for this album. And it was focusing on the topic of pretendians, because, it just seemed to be something that people weren't talking about enough, and then I brought Aaliyah in, she's from Long Lake 58, which is First Nation in Northern Ontario. And my family's from Manitoba. So my grandfather, I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandfather was from Little Black River in Manitoba. And he was raised in Selkirk. And my grandmother was from Peguis First Nation. So she raised me in Edmonton, but she currently lives on our res in Manitoba. And, when I talk to her, she has no idea about pretendians. Like, not a lot of people on the res are experiencing pretendians. But if you're a musician or an artist, or you go to college or university and you're Indigenous, you definitely notice there's some people whose stories just don't add up. So, I made a song about it, and it created a conversation that was needed to be had, but it also just timed out perfectly with some pretendians getting caught. And some of them were like stripped of their they had like honorary degrees that were being taken. They were losing their jobs basically because they're trying to give a chance to people who may not have access or opportunities as the rest of Canada. So you check boxes off that are like, indicating what your ethnicity is. And there's an Indigenous category. And some people, they'll check off those boxes based on folklore, family, like a family tale they heard, or somebody in the family, like a grandfather saying, oh yeah, we're part Native. But we could get the card, and it's not always about the card. It's really about the lived experience, in my opinion. Right. So Like for instance, I've got missing family members like in the last 2 years. One who went missing in the last 4 weeks, and another one who's been missing for a little bit over a year. And it just seems to be like that kind of trauma seems really not exclusive to Indigenous people, but very common within our existence.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And
so I do take offense to it. I do take offense of somebody pretending because they want to be us, but they don't want to live what we've been through. You know, like no, who would want to go through the stuff that we go through, the trauma and the stuff that we carry through our lives. So for me, I just thought it was important, and usually music is my way of kind of just expressing myself, like rather than tweeting or Facebooking whatever I feel. I'd rather just share memes on those platforms. But if I really have something to say, I'm going to save it for songs.
yeah, yeah, I find it very, very similar. I mean, like, and I find there are a lot of red flags. It's like, okay, even if we break it down and just generalize us all as musicians,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's even different levels to that.
yeah,
There's your everyday, an hour a day practice, you know what I mean, chords, progressions,
yeah,
fingerings, all of that musician. Then there's your sometimes this. Then there's the one who knows how to do it well, but only does it when there's people around for the benefit,
yeah.
right? Now, I personally find it offensive when I spend my day to day doing the whole multimedia circuit to hear someone complain about how hard it is to fulfill one task.
Yeah.
You find that too?
I find we're all different, and for something that might be hard for me, because honestly, when it comes to like balancing checkbooks and like keeping tabs on my credit cards, that's difficult to me. And some people think I'm an idiot for that.
No,
like,
I got a bookkeeper
how
for
come
that.
how come you can't do this? And I'm just like, "Well, that's just not my skill set." So I mean, sometimes
No,
some people find something hard, and I hear them complaining about it. It's definitely a first
yeah,
world problem. And if I'm complaining, like on that note, like, oh man, the water in the pool evaporated, I got to fill it up again. Um, I will highlight. I'll usually just say hashtag first world problems, because the
yeah,
majority of
yeah.
the world is not experiencing what we're experiencing here in Canada. Like so across the board, we're doing pretty good. Unfortunately, especially for Indigenous people in this country, it's a little imbalanced.
Oh, here's a question. One, I think I went to my first powwow a couple years ago by invitation.
Where'd you go?
I went. They had one. They held one at the Meridian Center
Gotcha.
in St. Catharines.
Gotcha.
And let me tell you, fam, I was rocking the whole time. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
something. It's like the rhythm grabbed my soul and would not stop. I'm
No,
there
it's
walking
real.
through.
It's a real.
I had like a step to me, and I was like, you know what I mean? Everything just had more
Oh
rhythm,
yeah.
and instead of just my typical cadence, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a little bop to me, and I'm looking at the stuff and I'm picking it up, and it's like I'm just like it's like I'm resonating with everything that's there, and like I want to do it again.
You became one because
I
it's all about being one with the earth, right? And then
yes,
you were just drawn into that energy. It's a good, healthy energy, in my opinion. I actually attended treatment. I went to a treatment center in probably 2003, and I'd been so disconnected from my culture at that time. I've been around Native people, but I mean,
yeah,
like as far as like traditional stuff, I was just so separate from that. And at this treatment center in St. Albert, Alberta, it's called Poundmaker's Lodge, and they would throw round dances, I think twice a month, and they'd have an annual powwow. But I went on a Friday night. I helped set up for the round dance, and then people from outside the treatment center come in that night. And as soon as I heard the drum, I started bawling my eyes out. It just triggered such an emotional response, and just like this, it's like I knew that I needed to reconnect with that part of my being. So I understand that feeling you're talking about.
Yeah. All right, so we got this track, Red Flags. Let's get into that right now. Okay.
finish this. I'm sick of this calling yourself indigenous. Don't even know the differences between eagles and pigeons, kid. Find out who you are, thriving off of who you know. Captain Blue Albino got me rhyming in the studio. So the recipe of claims and that's apparent. There's no native DNA in the tracks you sharing. If it wasn't for collabs, bringing natives to the lab, I can't even count the times you cross the line like a scab. Let's go then, dudes, real Lucy with the accent. Talking about that land back, give it back then. Son, how's 11 and I burn Anglo-Saxons. If you ain't got a fist fight, let's settle it on wax then. Senior citizens out in Malibu. Wasn't on my radar till you showed a given attitude. Paperwork, show pics of your coconuts. I'll show you all my college diplomas. They ain't real, no shit. They don't know about the struggle. Every single native rapper in your bubble. Niggas Plex clearing up any confusion. He fooled a couple dummies, now he thinks we're all stupid.
He's all set.
Story don't add up. All these boy get players, they all too thick. You be mean from the sex, but you ain't from sex. Buckskin vest full of flower beads. Ask them who claims you, and they plead the fifth. Too thick. You be mean from the sex, but you ain't from sex.
Ah.
Claims you.
I got that one.
I'ma start naming names with the lawyers and crews. And the names in your circles, I'll destroy them too. They enable my respects off the table. Don't let me sag you, make you think I ain't able. I've aged, but listen, I'm a beast when needed. I was white, still native when I don't believe him. Self-appointed judge and jury, ain't nobody need to worry, but I better see you, and you better hurry. Bringing up the scoop, though, like it's some sort of loophole. Really goes to show how low these people stoop, though. Sitting here wondering, what would Buffy do? You're taking up our spaces, and we've had enough of you. Red flags.
Ah, you know, it is true that reality can be harsh to those who refuse to accept it for what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it is an honor and a privilege to have played something of that magnitude because it's going to start conversations with whoever hears it. I firmly believe it.
You know, typically I get a lot of good feedback on a lot of the stuff that I work on, and I'd say this is the one where, although it's probably the most played song of mine, it's got a lot of great feedback. People saying this needs to be heard. This needs to be heard. This is finally someone saying it. But there's a lot of pushback right now. The most pushback I've ever had on a song. Some people are just not happy that it exists. And
it's ominous.
It's weird because I have people who are non-Indigenous who claim indigeneity who are saying that this is a racist song. Because I'm calling out people who are non-Indigenous who are pretending to be Native. And
you want to know? My answer to that is hockey was invented by Black people.
You're talking about the Nova Scotia.
So believe me, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from. Although in turn, basketball was created by white people, so I guess we got.
You know what? I think it was actually the Mayans who played the most similar thing. So it was like Aztecs. I think it was Aztecs that were like.
Yes.
Yeah, they had something similar, but I mean, it was a. You weren't dribbling that ball. That was a rock.
No,
it was a rock.
No, that was you picked it up. You have to be.
I think there's been a few different instances where, like, even pre-contact, there were natives who played something that was similar to hockey. It was more like lacrosse, but it was like almost like a field hockey type thing.
Yes, but that's the thing. Like,
black people were the first people to kind of create the rule system of hockey.
There we go.
Like Nova Scotia, they were playing. They had a legit league in in the early 1900s or something like that, or late 1800s.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that.
Yeah.
And I think,
It's
and I honestly think that's like connected to the Rock's family.
Samoans, the Samoan
No,
bloodline.
no. Through Rocky
Oh,
Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson.
Rocky Johnson. Rocky
Oh,
Johnson. His dad. Yeah, his
oh,
dad is related
ah,
to those people who he was related to some of the people who were involved in that first hockey league ever made, like the first hockey league ever made. Bulls.
the more
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Just the more you
we just
know.
came full circle on wrestling, bro.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you, like it's a fun. And people, the funniest thing is like even yesterday, I went to the Niagara River Lions basketball game. They had a, you know what I mean. This is what they give their season ticket holders this year. Yesterday they had a game for the kids.
Yeah.
There was like 30 schools in the arena, bro.
Yeah.
It was one of the fans that was sitting in the courtside beside me said, when the kids screamed and I resonated after them, it was like Simba and Mufasa. Because they're all here and I'm down here. Yeah. So it just kind of came together.
Nice.
Yeah, but man, even I say that to say there's just so many things happening that are good for the community, and we just gotta look out for them. I'm glad we're at this point where I've honestly wanted to participate more in things of all cultures, really. I want to, like, I have a company called Culture Shock.
Yeah.
So I literally shock people with culture. It's what I do.
Yeah.
Like if I see, I can describe so many different scenarios that are just like, oh my gosh, I never expected that.
Yeah. You know, I think this is an interesting time to be alive. I think because, you know, we're a little bit more inclusive than we've ever been.
Yes.
You know, like when you're watching television now and you're actually seeing more people of color. You know, there was a time where it was just like every sitcom was all white people, and nothing against that. Like some of my favorites, you know, I like the Golden Girls. You know, I like Seinfeld, but it's just like, you know, it's just now we're starting to be more inclusive of other cultures. You're seeing a lot more Indigenous people on television, more than we've ever seen.
There was TGI Friday.
Yeah, but that's still like that's not that far ago. Like to us, anyway.
That wasn't
to us, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, no, that was like what, late 90s.
But still,
and even
that's just that was just peppering it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it wasn't like
like
I've been hearing rumors of Tyler Perry being interested in buying out BET and VH1.
Please do.
I hope he does. It'd be the first time that BET was black owned in over 30 years. So
how you gonna have black entertainment television not owned by black people, fool?
Exactly.
I'm sorry, like we're going there. If we're gonna go there, okay. But before we go there, let me give you the opportunity, sir, to flip the script. And when I flip the script, I give the guest the opportunity to be the host and make any statements they may have or ask any questions they might have. So, by all means, Plex, you have the floor.
George Bush doesn't care about black people. Still. That aged well, Kanye.
Still.
What is the typical theme? What is something somebody might bring up?
I mean, we've gone everywhere from like favorite foods to like top 10 artists, you know what I mean? Top 5 artists, why I started, where I started, anything that comes to mind, and nothing's off limits. This is a very dangerous segment of my show because I literally open the floor for any question to be asked.
Anything.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a tough one. I was gonna just mention that I was just happy that De La Soul's catalog has been, you know, recently released on streaming services. You know, I've been trying to find De La Soul for a while, but let's see what question. I guess we can go with like, where's the weirdest place you ever had sex?
Good question. Good question. To answer that honestly, okay. A community center parking lot after dark with 3 passersby looking into my car.
Mine was I was a security guard at a Howard Johnson hotel, and 2 women came back from the Everything to Do with Sex show.
Okay.
And one of them wanted to teach the other one some stuff, and I was the muse.
Well then,
It was in a hot. It
kudos.
was in a hot tub, and the night auditor gave me the keys and said, "Here, you can go open up the pool for these ladies." And I was like, "Well, I'm getting paid $8 an hour for this."
Nice, nice. You know, not like cashing in.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So that's all I got. That's all I got.
That's all
Straight
I mean,
straight
like, as
honesty,
far as
right?
I'm going.
Straight
Yeah,
honesty.
man. And what's the harm in that? We all adults here. Like we all know how we got to this point in our lives.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah.
it's like people are so taboo talking about some topics that really need to be discussed so the future generations know how to handle it. It's like this one that has always griped me. Oh, it's the boy that knocks your books out of your hand and pulls your hair that likes you. No, motherfucker. That's the boy that has problems vocalizing his emotions.
I think so, there's something going on at home. There's something going on at home for sure. Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Like 6:30.
Like dad,
You know what I mean?
dad's not a nice guy or something like that, and that's how it manifests.
No, if that's the situation. I mean, like, I'm not saying I'm like the perfect Plex or nothing. See what I did there?
Yeah.
But but you know, I'd like to believe that my parents did right by me. So the situation I'm currently in, I'm working to develop very well, and yeah, things are going well.
You know what's missing from so when I was growing up, I behaved just out of like the fear that something could happen. Like
yes,
even the sound of the drawer opening where the wooden spoons were, I was just like making sure that I was in check. Is all my stuff cleaned up? Like, you know, a belt buckle, like just the sound of that, just the potential of that, I just stayed in check. Nowadays, I think that some families, it's just a little bit, it's, you know, there's a little bit too much freedom.
I have more respect for my parents than I do the police because my parents didn't need a gun to put the fear of God in me. You understand that?
Good point. And they still they still love the shit out of you, right? You know,
still love the life into me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And directed me to the point where I could say I run a radio station while doing podcasts and have a magazine with my vehicle, family, daughter. You know what I mean? Like I could go on. I'm blessed beyond borders.
Exactly.
Beyond bounds. And
it's important. It's important that you recognize that. It's important.
Yes, definitely.
Because I honestly I believe in manifesting. So if you actually have gratitude like that, and then you can vocalize it like that, I think you invite way more of that energy into your life.
Speaking of that energy, we have DeWitt Lee here as well.
Nice.
So we're gonna bring him into the conversation. Sorry, DeWitt Lee the third.
DeWitt Lee the third.
Sir, how are you today?
I'm absolutely wonderful, my brothers. How are you?
We're blessed.
It's a great day. It's a great day.
Great day, man. I just left. Sorry, I was late. I just left the Millennium Hotel here in Buffalo, New York, for the Power 96.5 FM's annual Black Music Month conference and awards, man. I got to watch my daughter, Captivated C, rip the place down.
Nice.
And very proud moment as a dad, man. You know.
Amazing.
And, so I'm just filled with pride, filled with excitement, and I'm glad you guys are still on this call so that I can tap in. Thank you for this.
You said you're in Buffalo?
Yeah, I'm in Buffalo right now.
Buffalo's doing some good stuff, hey, especially with Griselda Records out there, Conway, and
Griselda Records, BSF, and Drumwork, man. Those are all the three major labels that all came from a visionary named DJ Shay, man. DJ Shay, man, a dear friend, brother, comrade, colleague, and mentor who passed on, you know, during that COVID time, man.
Yeah.
And, we still haven't really come to grips with losing such a giant. You know, he meant so much to this.
But his impact lives on forever, though.
No, well, he got a chance to meet Hov. He got a chance to put his feet up a little bit. He got a chance to take a bite out the fruit of his labor. So we're grateful that he got a chance to see it, to touch it, to taste it. You know, involved with it all. But yeah, it was his endless commitment and work, belief, and that's what it takes in music. You need someone to believe in you, someone that, you know, just someone to push you, keep the studio open late for you, and that's what we want to do with these young people. We want to make sure that they have to be able to create, so that they can build up a body of work and build that work ethic. Bad habits, man. And you know, the only way to beat a bad habit is replace it with a good habit. And we want to get shows and go to, go into the studio and, and putting up posters of their own and, and just put it in that work.
Definitely. Oh man, that work is being put in this month, all year. I mean, we've crossed paths several times over the last few years, and every time we have something substantial has occurred. So
Yes.
Black Music Month. What? How are you celebrating this month?
Well, month. I would say each time we get to celebrate this month, we have our base, all the government levels of government, and we make sure that that a proclamation, so that's important for us. But beyond that, celebrate. But I really, it's really about preserving. I'm a historian. I care about those who came before everyone else. I care about making sure that the artists are still around who cultivated these music scenes in Canada. I want to make sure that this hasn't passed them by. I want to make sure that they're trademarked and that they're, copy something in a tangible state that it can be passed on, and that their descendants are able to continue their legacy and profit off their hard work while they're here. So I'm sure that those who did it before us, that they have a platform to tap in, and that's a big thing for us to make sure that they're getting work and getting wages, for their contribution. So we've been working with a lot of different organizations, companies, helping these actual artists get celebrated, and as Black Music Month, we're able to put together scrams and special outlets for them to still get shine. But then of course present day and the future, and so I'm really excited. So this year we're launching Music Video Awards, and so people can submit their music. There's an international element to it, so so artists in the U.S. tap in, around the world they can tap in, take this. So you can go to Black Music Month, and there's a link that'll take you to the registration page for the music videos. And about a day or so away from releasing our soundtrack awards. So Black Music Soundtrack Awards. Actually, I presented one of the awards today to Hines. He's a Grammy award-winning artist from Sounds of Blackness, and one of his songs, Optimism, made it on the soundtrack. And that's what's cool about soundtracks. It doesn't have to be current music. It can be music from generations ago. And they're still telling stories. Just create the music, protect the music, and make the music available, because one day it can be 10 years from now, and some film director can hear your song and say that story better than anything else, and you get a check. There's a guy in Buffalo named Eugene Copeland, Reverend Eugene Copeland. He wrote a song when he was about 16 years old. 2 years ago, Tyler Perry chose it to be in his movie. Beautiful. And he's 70 years old now. Like, this thing sat quiet for 50 years.
Yeah, I've got a song from 2012 that keeps making a comeback. It's just every now and again, like something on CBC will use it. Coroner used it recently, and I'll just get a nice check for that. They'll send me a little contract, I sign off, and then every time it plays in syndication, I get more money.
Nice.
Yeah, so I enjoy
That's
those.
amazing. I want you to go to the website. I want you to follow us online.
Can you say the website again? The audio cut out when you said the website. Can you say it again?
It's blackmusicmonth.ca.
Perfect.
And then if you find us on Instagram, it's Black Music Month. So we are Black Music, and we are looking for to do a lot of different interviews this last week. We're Instagram takeovers. So any artists that want to be interviewed on the Black Music Month platform, which is a global platform, right? It's a global channel, right? It's not anything or Black Music Month _ anything. It's Black Music Month. So our responsibility to manage that channel and cultivate it with, that's our number one focus, is making sure that the Canadian artists are, are introduced and celebrated on an international level. So, room for, our, other musicians around the world, because it's only right, because it is important that, every story, from a black, so not only do we have the music video awards, but we've extended Black Music Month to include a week dedicated just to the code. June 30th marks the beginning of Caribbean Music Week, end of Black Music Month, but it will be the first day of Caribbean Music Week. We've actually got a proclamation for the city of Brampton on that one, and a step towards legitimacy, a step towards really getting the commercial ready, really getting the cultural institutions to buy into it, and we're going to be celebrating in the month of July, which I'm really excited about, because July 11th, way up with the sneak peek to Carnival this year. So we're going to be True Carnival Song of the Year, right? Okay. So at the end of the Caribbean Music Awards, and it's going to be pretty humble this year. It's going to be pretty humble that we're going to recognize a DJ Urbana Song of the Year, right? And so that's the song that we're going to push to all the floats, and we want to hear it on the biggest carnivals in all of the world, and we don't really forming a launching pad for our artists. And so that's what we want to do with the whole, looking for that authentic Caribbean vibe. We want to say, hey, Toronto's got it. Got it. So so we will be pushing that out about that particular award, because that's something that we're going to be pushing to all the radio stations. And once we distinction, it's like that means we can reach out to and say, this is the official song of the Toronto Carnival, and right. That's it. That's why it is, because I said so. But it's gonna be beautiful, man. And you know what? We're gonna be celebrating gospel music. I just want the gospel music. Really special music to Black people, man. Special genre for Black people. It helped us in so many mighty ways. It's warfare. It's healing. It's love, man. And making sure that all the genres of gospel music is being celebrated. Canadian gospel hip hop is fire. I don't know if you've heard any of it, but it is to be reckoned. Caribbean gospel music is on fire. So we want to just celebrate all the who are being taking a risk and taking that narrow path, and and using their gift, and we believe they deserve respect.
True. All right. So where are you off to now?
Well, I'm actually still with another performance. So why don't you test her? And let's ask her about how she feels about our 50 years of hip hop, because that's something that we're celebrating, 50 years of hip hop. So one of the things we are going to be celebrating the music video awards. We're going to be putting out the top 50 music videos time, right? So we're live. This is captivating to see everyone.
Hi.
Performance.
Hello.
Fun. So my daughter's a feature film, and that's something that was just a very special moment. Kids get together, those behind the camera, those behind the mic, and they start doing story feature film made by the youngest African American feature film in this region, and so she had the honor of having one of her songs placed. She's continued performing it in the music week, and her website is captivatedc. And her range of music is crazy because in 2 hours she's gonna be performing with her. Okay, she's gonna be performing with her rock band, so she's shifting up and changing. But if you have any questions, if you wanted to speak, you gentlemen, if you wanted to have an opportunity to an interview the future of your hip hop, you mentioned some of the big names that come out of Buffalo. Say, hey, look, we talked to Captivated C before everyone else did. So I'm gonna give you one or two just so you got that exclusive early, gentlemen.
Okay. Appreciate you. Oh, hello.
Okay, there she is, everyone. All right, gentlemen.
All right.
They're interviewing you. They're interviewing you.
All right, so introduce yourself to the viewers of the VGN and the listeners of the VGN, Village Global Network.
I'm Captivated C. I'm from Buffalo, New York. I'm 18 and I'm a lyrical rapper.
Okay. So what got you started in this endeavor?
I don't even know, honestly. I know that my parents listened to a lot of old school music, and then over time I was just writing for fun. And then I was like, actually like doing this, but then I didn't know what my sound was. So I was just like diving into everything. And then I realized like a pattern if I have all my notebooks from when I first started writing. So if you look at the pattern of how I first started writing, everything always ended up going into the storytelling type of side of me. And I was like, I get it. I'm a storyteller. And that's why I call myself a lyricist now, because I just come up with references that you would not even think to exist. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Was just my parents.
Who are some some artists you like?
I'm sorry.
Who are some artists who are some of the artists that inspire you?
J. Cole, Tupac, Busta Rhymes, Eminem, Joyner Lucas, Kendrick Lamar, Lauryn Hill, and No Name. Yeah.
She's
dope. That's a good list.
It's a good list.
I don't know if any of you have heard of Simba, but I recommend checking out Simba. SYMBA.
I do.
He's one of my favorite MCs right now. He's young. He's only like 23 years old. Like he's just a young cat too. Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. Check that out. All right. Oh man.
She can share something. Ask her to share something.
All right. I should have just turned the interview over to you for a minute. All right, so give us an example of your lyrical capacity. Like,
all right, we're gonna set it up music video style. We're gonna set it up music video style. She's coming out the car.
Okay.
Yes, we're gonna do a music video style, like real gangster, like in the middle of the street or something. In the middle of the street, there she go.
Why am I in the middle of the street?
It's a
Give me the phone. I'm tired of this. Hi.
Hello.
Okay. So what are we doing?
I mean, I want to hear some of your lyrics or like one of your tracks or something. If you can drop a quick sample.
Oh, y'all want me to freestyle? I don't even know how to freestyle.
Okay.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just joking.
Like...
I was trolling on y'all. All right. Let's see. Okay. Raised on Englewood. I guess that you could call it home. I do this for my city, so they know to whom the throne belongs, if anything. Buffalo I'm from, it's what I really own. Even Benny couldn't butcher this flow or this entire song. I'm representing for the kids who went out the mix screaming Buffalo, giving it all I got so they got hope to stay standing 10 toes. I real close, and I suppose I'm supposed to show them that they never fold. Hard for me to lead while I'm in the dark. I gotta find my way. Everything I say is for display. That's why I'll forever stay. Anything they got against me now will forever let you can come correct and don't come at all. I'm here to claim that it's my day. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank
Okay,
you.
okay.
Nice.
Bars,
Nice.
bars,
I like the
heavy.
voice. I
You
like
feel
the
me?
confidence. I like the confidence.
So I guess the next thing is I'm gonna just put in a request to get some of your tracks. Do you have anything recorded and completed?
I do. I mean, like right now, or like like out, because I do.
No, we'll set up another interview where we can come on and like what I mean, in a quiet space where we can hear where you can hear us better and all of that stuff. But like this is a good exclusive right now. It's a surprise that I didn't expect. Got to shout out A Smith for
Thank you.
popping up all these surprises on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's another one. Lights going out. Lights get low. Okay, so you said Busta Rhymes was one of your inspirations or influences, and he happens to be one of mine as well. Speaking of influences, DUI just walked into the building. Um, so much for staying behind the scenes. Uh-oh. We also have one of the drummer from Effect Very here. You can move the bike. Yeah, you're good. Just yeah. All right. They have a show at the Rock Pile today, so they're gonna be getting their stuff ready. But I got this track here by Busta Rhymes, so I'm just gonna let it play.
Okay.
Oh, serious? Nice. Okay.
Don't change the bonus for him and Neiman Marcus. Put a top down, why you keep coughing? Put her in the ocean, but she suck a beach ball. Moving up and down, seesaw. Give me back shots, now it's back to DR. Fly you out to PR, can't put you in no Dior. Look into my eyes, you could tell I want a D-board. Hopping willies on the, you thinking I'm from B-more. We should have been friends, but I know you want to be more. Touch my first M, you know I gotta see more. See it, get my answer, you know I had a detour. Doing first class just to sit out by the seashore. Shit, you can't f me in no G4. Cartier friends with the Gucci flip flop. Money fast, man, I'ma be
Look, see, I inflated the plot ever since the day of curtain sales. I upgraded the block. Yeah. Look, see, I inflated the plot ever since the day of curtain sales. I upgraded the block. Yeah. Louis and Gucci make us bug and burst off and drag me to a dressing room and give me talk until she coughing. Wanna fall and on these beach balls and all these people walking around me talking about I miss y'all. Never kissing when I always get them back to DR. Shorty, yes, I see y'all. Who the fuck you thinking me out? Think you about to come up? See them thoughts, you better be man. Have fun. Trying to come off.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember if that's Gorilla Glue or Maui Wow.
It's like Maui.
Much respect, brothers. Much respect.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate that. What's the point of us having the platform if we don't, put our kids on, man? So thank you for making room for my daughter. Captivating to see. So proud of her, man. Like what she represents for this generation. I mean, there's gonna be little kids. When little kids say her music, they're actually going to be speaking knowledge. They're going to be speaking facts. They're going to be speaking truth, and it's going to be something that it's going to feed them good food, man. It's going to it's going to feed their soul. It's going to lead them in the right direction. It's not going to, it's not going to
See
build
that.
these
Okay.
bad patterns of thinking bad and embracing bad
Okay.
and celebrating bad. Like she's giving them a
Yeah.
horizon to shoot for, to look towards, and to be your best self. And don't let anyone degrade you. And it's just inspiring. And I know that this generation needs it more than ever, man. So, the more opportunity she gets to share her music, the more opportunity she's going to equip the next generation to be the best them. And that's what I'm most excited about, her impact.
Welcome you to send me a link, to email me a link to one of her songs, and I'll put it in the QR code section of the magazine. And that's an invitation for you as well, Plex. If you send me a link to one of the songs you want to promote this month, I will include it in the Culture Shock magazine on
That's
one of
blessed,
the
bro. I appreciate that.
pages.
So look, I want to do something in Niagara Falls for Caribbean Music Week, bro. And wherever we at, whatever areas, the communities we can touch and impact, let's do it, man. We got June 30th to July 6th. So any artists from that area that need to be celebrated, let's focus and let's built all of our curriculum and aim all of our platforms to celebrating Caribbean music, you know what I mean, locally,
Yeah.
internationally, and let's do something big. So let me know what we can do in Niagara Falls.
All right. I'll keep you posted.
Much respect.
All right, King.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for the time. Thank you for the invite. Appreciate it.
No problem. Bless up. You know what I mean? Be in contact about that next interview with your daughter.
Yes, sir.
With,
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
all right.
I'll send you her link right away.
All right. Bless.
Peace.
All right. That was the Whitley the third, ladies and gentlemen. As you see on the Terrell Effect, we're always making something happen. Let us continue with the conversation. I got 3 more songs to play here. I got Till Now by Young Craze off the Top Flow 6. Then I got a track produced by DUI featuring yours truly by someone else. And then I have another track by someone else, which I'm going to use as my closing song for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Yeah. So here we go. I got Till Now.
Pushing forward and then moving back. I'm still crazy, tribulation for me to attack. Moving back is
Okay. C-Land. Where's he from? C-Land. Okay.
C-Lance?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he produces for Mercules.
And Snoop Dogg.
Well, he does produce for a lot of big name artists, but Mercules is who he like. Mercules.
Yeah, he's doing a song with Snoop.
Nice. So Mercules opened for me when he was 14 years old.
Mercules opened for this guy when he was 14 years old.
He used to go by Merc Mikes. He wasn't even allowed in the venue. He wasn't even old enough to be in the venue he performed in. And nowadays he blew up, and now he's his videos are hitting like 10 million, you know.
Yeah.
And more.
Hey, you did a song with Buster.
Yeah.
Well, the song he did with Benny the Butcher is dope.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might not be in the genre, but I know all about it.
Yeah.
But like, technically you are.
C-Lance is on fire lately.
Exactly.
And he's old school. He uses the old school like idiot laugh.
It's funny. I remember when there was a guy named Freddie Fame. He's out of Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
He was pushing.
I did a show with him last year.
Oh wow! So he was pushing Tory Lane's features 15 years ago for $100. He's like, "Do you want Tory Lane's on your track? $100." And I was like, "Eh." now Tory Lane's is huge, man, and he's dope. He's dope.
Yep.
He's dope. He got really good.
Yep.
Tom McDonald, I know the guy that does all this shit.
And Tom McDonald?
Tom McDonald, I know him from Alberta. So in the early days, I remember he used to ask me to share his stuff. And then he kind of pandered to the conservative crowd down in the States, right?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, he panders 1,000% according to DUI.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs by him is Castle.
I don't mind as a lyricist. I think he's a good MC, and whoever's doing his production is doing a good job. And then his girlfriend, who is also kind of famous because she was signed to Casanova Records or whatever back in the day, Nova Rockefeller. So Nova Rockefeller produces his videos, and they're really high end. They look good.
Yeah, she was signed to Def Jam.
Yeah, it's Def Jam, and Casanova I think was he's the guy who wrote Halo for Beyonce, and that's who signed her. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm also friends with the one that has written majority of the hits for Katy Perry.
Isn't that Max Martin?
No, there's a girl that's written like California Girls and that. Was written by
So Max, have you ever looked up Max Martin?
Yep.
He did like all of Britney Spears, all of Taylor Swift, Backstreet Boys, all those bands. Even TLC, he was writing all their hits. Like he's probably got 5 songs in the Billboard top 10 right now. Like he just produces and writes all these songs for these. Like I swear the guy signed a deal with the devil, or if he's not the devil himself. Yeah.
He's talking about himself.
As long as you're not signing the deal with the devil, bro.
He gives the devil a headache with a debate. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna have to peace out soon. I've got.
All right. Yeah, we're coming close to the end of it. Got a couple minutes left. So, who would you like to, pun intended, shout out before you head out?
I definitely think people should check out Relic. It's Rellik, Killer spelled backwards. He's out of Alberta. He's kind of crossing genres. He's got incorporating a little bit of country, but he's always been a hip hop guy. He's a lyricist. Definitely feeling Mercules. There's a guy named Dreezus out of Calgary. I definitely respect. And Snotty Nose Rez Kids out of the West Coast. Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, I think that they deserve just a little bit more shine. They're getting a lot of play these days, but still, I think they just deserve a little bit more attention. I don't think they've actually crossed into the mainstream as much as they deserve. Like they actually, I'm a one taker. I go in the studio, I one take my verse. I'm old school. Like I'm an older dude. I just it's almost like a pride, a bravado thing. These guys take their time in the studio. They're working with skilled engineers who are making sure it's pieced together properly, so that it's ready for an international release, So I respect their hustle. And they're performing a lot. They're doing a lot on the road. Kripal out of Edmonton. He actually works with Sealance. Who do I like? There's a guy named I'm gonna have to scratch that one. I can't remember his name right now. He's changed it so many times. He used to go by K Dot, but then Kendrick came up and kind of took that. I have to say I'm pretty happy with that list. Kripal though, and Aaliyah Bell. Aaliyah Bell, she's out of Barrie, Ontario. She's a singer. She works with a band called Stoic, Stoik. They've got some, hit-worthy songs, So keep an eye out for Aaliyah Bell as well. I'm grateful to share this space with you today, man. I think it's I've learned a lot today.
All right, I picked up a few ounces of knowledge myself.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing this information with me. Please keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
I see your skill set matches your character. You know what I mean? A lot of people think that skill is all that you need to get to where you're going, and they forget that character is what sustains you when you get there. You know what I mean? And I just hope you continue setting an example of how to communicate effectively amongst, those you associate with.
Miigwech, homie. That's Miigwech.
All right. So we got this last song. It is produced by DUI. It is by someone else. And I am not on this track. I was on the last one. But I am going to shout you all out for doing your thing. Stay blessed. And, make sure you do what you can for yourself. And if you can help someone along the way, do that too.
Absolutely.
All right. It's been a pleasure hosting you. Please feel free to forward your information to me, your songs as they come out.
Sounds good.
We have a mutual connection, so get to me through there, if nowhere else.
Amazing. Thank you.
All right.
Peace.
Bless up. I just see him spinning around in a field with bubbles and shit. Just okay.
Dude, we went from having one song to a full EP.
All you gotta do is call it the same thing remastered and re-release it. Oh man.
Currently mixing 20 songs.
You're currently a madman.
Wait till you hear the good version of one.
Okay.
Especially in my truck. It's not hit that down there.
Oh man.
Before we came in, we were listening to the one I did with Sunil.
How long were you out there? I thought I heard something rumbling, but I'm just like, nah, maybe it's just me. Shout out.
Your neighbors may not like me.
That's why they're my neighbors and not my roommates. $100. The worst you could consider is alternative pop.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing.
Yeah. I have the first verse and the first half of the second verse for Over 30 remix. Anytime. She doesn't have to tell us. She just has to ask and make sure we're here so she's not waiting outside. I really vibe with this song though. I just like the energy that's in this for some reason. Maybe that's why I gripped to it. I used to listen to Weezer heavy in the early 90s.
The mix of like Weezer, like just everything that was popular in the mid-90s.
Mm-hmm. It does have okay, so I'm not offending you when I say that. Like, I took it, like, I felt like I was free falling through a wormhole back to the 90s with all of those pop culture figures just popping up by me as as I'm falling, like, and then I just land in this field. I'm looking around and all you can see is just like, I don't know, something picturesque.
Cinderella.
Yeah.
I was making fun of Alexis on Fire.
Damn.
We made Alexis on Fire pop match.
Yeah.
That was the whole purpose of that song.
Okay. Fulfilled.
We were giving nods to people we listened to growing up, and what we like to listen to when we're driving down the street.
Is there someone cooking something? You smell bacon? No, I smell bacon. Oh, never mind. There's a plate beside me and I'm hungry. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of the show. You just got a tidbit of what's going to be happening after the show's done. We're going behind the scenes. I got a hunger that's mean. I got to eat that, and then I got to touch another scene. I got a meeting at 7 p.m., so I'm going to be lean a little bit before then. If you know what I mean, come shout out the people that are helping you do what you do. Give the flowers to those who are helping you get through. Make sure if they can't hold your head when you're down, they ain't gripping your hand when you up, and do the best you can to be the best you are. If that's too much, just be, and don't interfere with other people. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you can't hold my head when I'm down, I'm not standing up and puking, that's for sure. Because it'll get all over my clothes. It's got a long... Nah. I try not to projectile vomit because it's heavy. Like, it just... Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry if you're hearing this on the VGN, but at least you didn't see it on YouTube.com. YouTube.com/Explosive North, and there's like 4 numbers after it, but type in Explosive North, look for the puppet, and add, subscribe, like, share, do all of those things. Look up Driving Under Insanity on all streaming platforms. Look up Someone Else on all streaming platforms. Look up POE on all streaming platforms. Me and the Boys Wrestling every Thursday. It releases on James Owen Brown's YouTube channel, and it will be on the VGN at 2 p.m. moving forward. If you know me, just contact me and let me know at 12:30 on a Thursday that I got work to do. All right. That being said, FX May Vary is playing live at the Rock Pile tonight. Check them out along with other bands. And, pardon? Oh, and then when I'm done, we're done. So